Hello and welcome everyone to those that are here live. It's great to see you, and for those that are catching this as a replay, welcome. This is the 11:11 hour Tuesday night live stream. I'm Amanda Nicole, and today's topic is all about the client journey. So unlocking that mystery of why people buy. So we're going to dive into that, and any questions, pop them in the comments. They'll come up. Got Sherry and Tab behind the scenes that will help facilitate that with the questions. And I'll be working between two screens, and I'll come and check the questions as they pop up. If for any reason I happen to miss one, then feel free to pop it back into the chat, and I'll also circle back as well. So the client journey in your business and unlocking the mystery of why people buy. So this series, this episode is really about understanding why people buy so that you can attract the clients, the orders, the sales, all of that as part of your business. But when you understand why people buy, then it makes it easy for you to take your marketing action steps. But we'll dive into that into a bit more detail. So I'm just pulling that up, making sure, we've got everything aligning there. So if we're meeting for the first time, hi, I'm Amanda. I'm a social media coach and absolutely love helping you with your networking strategy, podcasting, content, and marketing plans. So if you're a business owner, and chances are you are if you're watching this, then definitely connect. So we'll dive straight in because this live stream is actually all about you. And it's the roadmap to results. So I'm sharing with you my 6-step framework on optimizing your client journey for sowing success. So success in your business, what that looks like for you, whether that's more clients, additional clients, freedom, lifestyle, saving time, whatever it may be for you, then it's about sowing your success through having a client journey in your business. So we'll start with what a client journey isn't, because when we get clear and understand what it isn't, then it makes it really easy to see what it is. So you may be a small business owner, maybe you've got services, maybe you're a coach, maybe you're a virtual assistant, you can be any kind of business owner, maybe you have a product, maybe you're fundraising and or as well. But what a client journey isn't. So it's a client journey isn't selling your paid offers or your services or asking for donations all the time. So if that's your whole marketing strategy, then I'll be upfront with you, that isn't a marketing strategy. And as we go through this together, you'll start to see, and we'll unpack why that isn't a marketing strategy for you, that you do need some layers within your business, whether you're offering services, programs, and or maybe you're fundraising, but you need some layers within your business. So selling just your paid services, offers all the time isn't a client journey. When you think of your client coming in or someone coming across you, you'll start to see that they need more than that so that they can get to know you, understand you, and learn about your expertise and how it can actually help them with the problem that they have and the solution that you provide. So that's number one, what a client journey isn't. Now, what also a client journey isn't is it's when you're not offering any value for free for people to sign up for. So if you're not offering a free training, a masterclass, a webinar, a newsletter, a podcast episode, or online events such as these, for example, you're not really giving your clients or potential community members and followers any real value. You are through your content, but when you think of them coming into your community, into your world, into your business and your actual business model, then having value for free in some capacity, like a podcast episode, like a regular newsletter that goes out, and these other examples, that then facilitates a client journey. So when you don't have anything like that of value for free that people can sign up for, then you're not really having a client journey within your business. There isn't that support there. And believing that you don't need a client journey. So that's more of a mindset aspect. And I intentionally place that third rather than putting it straight up there up front. I wanted to provide clear examples up front with the first two, where the gap is, what you might be missing, rather than focusing on mindset. Whilst it is important when you can see those really clear blind spots, because we all do, and I certainly did when I first started my business. And if you've been following me for a while, my business has pivoted in 3 different directions, from career coaching to spiritual new age, which I'm not into at all, and social media, which is my current business and moving forward. Then I did struggle with this as well. So what I'm sharing, I can relate to. I do understand. I have compassion, and that's why I'm really passionate about teaching and supporting you with that, and hence with becoming a social media coach as such, which is something I always really enjoyed helping people with when it came to their marketing and business. So believing that you don't need a client journey, if you're in that thought, in that belief, in that understanding that you don't actually need something, say free, and then your paid offerings, and we'll get into more detail around the layers within that, then that is a mindset block. That is a belief that you have that's actually holding you back, that's stopping you from taking those steps. And maybe you're hearing this for the first time and you're like, oh, actually, that is a roadblock that I've been experiencing. Maybe you've heard this a few times in a day, like whatever it happens to be for you, let it land. But there's that belief, and I've seen it with clients that I've worked with, entrepreneurs that I speak with, that they don't believe that they need to have a client journey, that they just think and believe, and I was of this belief too, that people will just buy their products, their services straight away. But not everyone's ready for that. And if you think of your own journey too, as a buyer, as someone that's purchasing services from someone, perhaps you started with a free resource to begin with as well. So this is where we get clear and have a more in-depth understanding of what a client journey is. So where can your followers, your community find you? What platforms are you on? Where can they find you is number one. Because where they find you, that's the beginning of your client journey. Number two, a sequence of marketing activities that nurture your people with your product, your service, your area of expertise. So I'll go into more examples of that. But an example might be, a podcast, maybe sending emails, to give you a bit of an insight into that. But having a sequence of marketing activities that you take based on the way you want to deliver your business model, so that people can connect with you and they're hearing from you regularly. And what a client journey is, the mindset that you can, welcome in new followers and clients with simple systems. So when you believe that you can welcome in new followers, when you know that you are a business, open for business, and really step into that, I say authority, but really step into that and understand that you have wisdom, that you have talent, skills, and gifts that are of value to people, that can help people. And when you become open to sharing those gifts, talents, you open yourself up to the belief, the mindset, the thinking that, hey, yes, I can welcome in new followers. Because when you think, oh gosh, I've got so much going on in my business, I can't welcome in new clients, or it just feels really hard, even though you want to, it may be that you don't have the system set up, and it can also be a belief. So it's getting really clear that you do want to expand your territory, that you do want to open up your influence, you do want to expand your borders and welcome people in. That mindset belief, like I said, I placed it third for a reason, because I want to start with the practical things first of, where your followers and community can find you, what social platforms are you on, for example, what activities, what sequence of marketing activities do you have that nurture people, and then looking at the mindset, because the mindset does still play an important part. Because when you understand and realize, and I was certainly there at times too, when you start to understand and realize that you can welcome in new community members, followers, that then opens you up to taking the action of those activities, for example. So the roadmap to results, so my 6-step framework to optimizing your client journey for sewing success. Just checking in if there's any questions. Oh, sorry, I've missed a couple. Sorry about that. Where can your customers find your business? Shout out your business in the comments. Yes. Where can people find you? So yeah, drop your comments below. Where are you located? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? Do you have a website? Are you on YouTube? Maybe you've actually got all of those, but what's your main link? Maybe you have a link tree, and then that lists all your links. So Instagram, and then particular services that you have. Maybe you have a podcast. Maybe that's your business model for now. But yeah, definitely drop that in the comments so that we can start to, see and share those. And yeah, that just opens up your awareness, as well as to those that are watching this as a replay, as well as those that are here live, of your business. So number 1 is network. Number 2 is create your offer. Number 3 is attract. 4 is nurture. 5 is conversations. And 6 is systems. So these 6 steps to optimizing your client journey. So when you have these 6 steps in place and move them around, that's when you think of your client coming into your world, then you can start to see that they go on a journey, as well as your business starts to grow when you start to implement these as well, being the business owner that you are. So step 1, network. So this is more about you expanding your reach, expanding your territory, expanding your coast, your borders, your influence, expanding your reach through networking. Networking, think of that as your marketing. When you see your networking as part of your marketing, then that's going to help you realize, it certainly did for me. And like I said, I teach from experience as well as through practical application and understanding. But when you see that networking is marketing and that it's separate to sales, it makes it a lot easier. So looking at what sorts of industry events can you attend, what sort of in-person events can you attend locally or maybe interstate. When you start to network more, maybe it's a collaboration, such as an 11/11 hour. So there's opportunities to collaborate there. Maybe it's online communities as well. But when you start to see that networking is a great way for you to get in front of other people's audiences and for other people to get in front of your audience. So it has that aspect of visibility. Your visibility will grow by being in front of other people's audiences, as well as reciprocating it back, because networking works best when it's reciprocal. There's no point networking when you're giving, and you're not receiving back. And when you ask and there's no reciprocal action in terms of, sharing one of your resources, for example, a podcast episode or whatever it may be, if you're not receiving back from a person that you may recommend, refer, that you network with, if there's not something coming back in return in some way, then it's worth exploring that, because networking works best when there's that exchange. So, for example, in 11-11 hour, there's plenty of opportunity to be able to network, and there's plenty of opportunity to be able to share resources, help one another's businesses, and vice versa. So the more you network, you'll actually find too that your message becomes clearer. So I know from my own experience, I was able to become a lot clearer on what I did and how I could help people simply through networking, by going on live streams such as these, speaking events, podcast episodes, and meeting people in person as part of in-person networking. It helped me recognize that I had a gap with my messaging and that I needed to get clear, even though I was going through a business transition, and that certainly, has an impact as well. But getting clear on your message. So, when we first started this live stream, I shared with you that I'm a social media coach and that I help you with your networking strategy, and I help you with your podcasting, with your content and marketing plans. So keeping it very simple, particularly at networking events and on live streams, so that people are very clear then how you can help them, but almost more importantly, how you can help people within their network. So networking is your key to your client journey, because it's a way that referrals will come in, it'll way new clients come in, it's a way you're going to get in front of more people. So I know we've really dived deep into step one, networking, but it's an area that often gets overlooked, and I overlooked it for years, thinking that I could do it in my own strength, in my own will, and my own way, that I could just do it all. And yes, there are many entrepreneurs that do. There's many that don't, but they often reach a point where they've done it all in their own will, way, and strength, that their growth goes no further as such. So your net worth can also be linked to your networking. So the more you network and reciprocate in a generous and free-flowing way while still maintaining your boundaries and being clear, then you will benefit so much in terms of your business and your client journey. People just knowing who you are, how you can help people, and that's step one. Feel free to drop any questions below. Step two is create your offer. So highlighting your offer, so it might be a program, it might be a product, offering that as a unique solution. So how are you helping someone with a problem that they have? So for example, I can help you with networking, and I've shared with you some ways where that can be supported, but also to think of it more importantly with your own business. How is your product, your service a solution to a particular problem that someone has? And when you emphasize the speed and efficiency of your offer in achieving results, so whether it's in a certain time frame, it might be, number of days, months, for example, when you emphasize the speed and efficiency of that, then that helps people within your community see how you can help them with that as well. So what will help your clients, I say in X, Y, and Z, but what will help your clients, let's use a coaching example, but what will help your clients when it comes to their business, when it comes to, say, their social media, when it comes to their marketing, maybe you're in accounts. What will help your clients with their accounts as a small business owner? For example, maybe you're a designer. What will help them with their branding, with their logo, maybe with their website if you're into tech, for example. But what will help your clients or community members? What did you need help with? That can often be a great way to reflect. What did you need help with when you first started out in business? What's a question that you're continually being asked by clients and community members. If there's particular questions, your most commonly asked questions, that's going to help you create an offer for your clients and for your community. So looking at those most commonly asked questions as well. Step 3, your tribe, attracting your tribe. So it's about, I say, finding your flock, but where do your followers and clients find you? What platforms and places are you on? So we mentioned earlier in the live stream, pop them in the comments below. If you're watching this as a replay, drop your links below. But where can people find you? So remembering that people are going to land in those places and spaces on those platforms, and they're going to go and, I say, check you out, but they're going to check out your business. What have you got available for them? So what do you offer them of value for free? So going back to the examples earlier, have you got a podcast that they can just jump into? So for example, 11 hour, you can listen to the podcast episodes. You can go back and watch the videos, using those as an example. But what do you have in your business? Maybe you've got a digital download. Maybe it's a checklist, your most commonly asked questions, and you've created it into a checklist. That's a great way for people to start. In exchange for their email, you're growing your community, you're developing that client journey. They're attracted in because they're like, hey, this checklist, for example, I've worked with clients in pet minding, and that's something we spoke about, like a checklist of when a person's about to invest in a puppy, for example. What's a checklist? What are the most commonly asked questions? Putting that into a checklist, and that brings people into their community. And then when they have purchased, invested in a puppy, then they're already familiar with the pet minding business. And so pet minding may then become something that they want to invest in, purchase, book in for, and or maybe it's artwork, because many pet minding businesses will have, different kinds of, say, paw prints and animal prints as well. So that's where offering that free value starts, and then the person goes on a journey, however long or short that is, before they invest. Or maybe there's someone that simply just loves your work and recommends you, but there's going to be buys at different stages. So that's where your client journey and understanding and unlocking the mystery behind why people buy is by having this client journey in place. You're catering for people as they come in, those that want to start with the free resource, the podcast, listen to all your episodes, then sign up for your program, or donate to your fundraising page, or invest in your services. But they need that time and space to be able to get to know you, learn more about you, and how you can help them. Other people know straight away, and there's a mix in between as well. So when you recognize that, then it makes it easy. It becomes easy for you to take the steps of having your own client journey in place and keeping it really simple. So being clear that you offer something of value for free to move people into your pipeline for information and further engagement. So what have you got in place? This is a great opportunity to almost do an audit of your business. Maybe it's a discovery call, for example. But whatever it may be for you and your business, have something in place that's for free, ideally in exchange for email, unless, of course, it's a podcast. Then, having that in place will attract your tribe, find your flock, and people will have a way to mill in, and your business will easily grow, because it will bottleneck when you don't have a client journey in place. When you're just thinking that, I can sell my offers and that's my strategy or my services, I'm focusing purely on that, on my bookings, or asking for donations. But even when you look at charities, because I do work for a charity as well, so I can use that example confidently without singling, businesses out, a charity, yes, they will ask donate now, give today, but they provide a lot of free value. So if they're a health charity, then they're going to provide a lot of information about prevention, about treatment, about support services. Like, they have a whole plethora of information available. So I use that example for those of you that are fundraisers, because I know that there are some of you in the community. Maybe you want to start a podcast or do a video series. That's where you can fuel your value and sharing your journey and your experience, if it's with a particular condition as well. So a lot of organizations, charities do give plenty of value, webinars that you can sign up for. But they are just some examples, some solid examples for you to consider and think about when it comes to offering something of value for free to move people through. And then when it comes to asking for a donation, which is exactly the same as asking for a sale or inviting someone to donate, inviting someone to join your program, you've given a lot of value that it's just easy for the person to take the next step of doing that or recommending you for someone, but it makes it easy for them to take that next step. So step number 4, nurturing your followers and community. So we have, this has been interwoven already, but let's go a bit deeper. Nurturing your followers, nurturing your community. That's where all these practical examples of having a podcast, having a free resource, a training, videos, a YouTube channel. Like, I'm not saying have all of these. What I am saying is choose the ones that are right for you and the way that you enjoy delivering. What one I will recommend, whatever kind of business you have, is email, because you own the email list and you can build an email community that's independent from social media. Excuse me. And you can build that independent of social media, grow that, invite people into your email community and share lots of value, newsletters, your offers, as well as make sales as well. But that's the one part of your client journey that each client that I work with, entrepreneurs that I speak with at networking events, collaborations, have an email. Even if you're only sending out one email a month, start where you can, but it's solid to have an email, and then choose of these, for example, what to have. And these are going to nurture your audience. So think of your favorite podcasts that you love to listen to. They're nurturing you. They're delivering and releasing regular episodes on topics that you love to hear about, know about, learn about, implement on. And so they're nurturing you through having a podcast series. So when you have videos, it's the same thing. Your YouTube channel, it's the same thing. Nurturing people. So providing that ongoing value. You may still repurpose content, use content, from your podcast in your email, from your video in your email, for example. But what are you doing to nurture your community? And so that's a really big part of your client journey. We know that we need to hear things a number of different times, different touch points, particularly, with social media and just how fast the world is. It's gone beyond, the standard 4 to 6 touch points that we need to see and hear things regularly. You might think, well, Amanda, I write content regularly, I post often, I feel like I'm saying the same thing. Wouldn't everyone see all my posts? Well, no, they won't necessarily see all your posts depending on the algorithm. So when we take that out of consideration, how else can you nurture your community, for example, through podcasts, through having an email and looking at reusing some of the content there. But that's going to warm up your audience. They're going to get to know you. They're going to get to see how you can help them. And, you know, you may have a particular system, particularly for those of you that are, say, virtual assistants, coaches, mentors. You may have your own particular methodology, framework that you use. So, for example, I'm sharing with you my 6 steps to a client journey. That's my blueprint, as it were, that can help facilitate you in getting results and quick wins when it comes to understanding why people buy and setting up, having a client journey in place and or looking at your client journey. But how do your followers, your community members learn about your system, your methodology? Maybe it's your story, your vision. And how do they learn about that so that they can then go on to get quick wins and results? So nurturing is a big part of it. I know in the beginning we spent a lot of time on networking, which is our marketing, and we've certainly gone through step 2 and step 3 when it comes to creating your offer, as well as, and I'm just checking, as well as attracting people in, them finding their way to you, but nurturing them is really important, because that's going to be the deciding factor for why people stay. If they feel like you're providing lots of value through your podcast, through your videos, through sharing your story, then they're going to stick around, then they're going to recommend you, then they're going to take the next step of donating, of buying your product, investing in your services, that sort of thing. And knowing that it does take time, like the reality is it does take time. And if you have pivoted in your business, then it can actually add on extra time as such, where people have seen you do one thing and now you're doing something else. So it's that shift for your community members as well. But recognizing that nurturing does take time, but having these sequences in place, your podcast, for example, your email for sure, videos, your YouTube channel, for example, masterclasses, webinars, having those. So this is an example. This live stream is nurturing the community through having these live streams through 11:11 hour. Step 5, called it conversations, and it's about sparking conversations. So you've been doing, I say, all the things. You've been networking. You've created your offer. You've got your social platforms that you hang out on. You're nurturing people. So you've got email going behind the scenes. It's a bit like a wheel. I know I use my hands a bit, but, you've got your emails behind the scenes. You've got, you say it's a podcast that you release or videos, but you're nurturing your community, showing up on socials, and you've got that flow happening. The next natural step for people is to have a conversation with you. So maybe they've seen a post in a community group. Maybe it has been in Help Me Build My Business. They've seen something you've posted that sparked a conversation. Maybe they've reached out to you. I certainly had this happen earlier this week, so only yesterday, in a community group where I posted about emails and providing an email order, and then someone posted that they needed help with their social media, and so I shared an example of how I could help them and how I'd help that other kind of business owner as well. But the conversations, they come from you doing those marketing activities. People get to know you, and like I said, we've gone through each of the steps with networking, your offer, attracting and nurturing. So conversations, where are they taking place for people? Where do you have a convo that's personal to them? So where are you having a conversation that's personal to them? Is that in your direct messages? Is it via email, for example? Some people do openly and happily respond to emails, and it's a conversation through email. Maybe it's voice note. Like this then sparks conversation. By doing those 4 steps interchangeably, conversations are going to start to occur. You won't necessarily know the direct correlation, but by doing those activities consistently and refining as you go, then conversations will start to happen. Maybe you go to a networking event and you have a conversation there. Person asks more about, how you can help them and what services that you offer, for example. But conversations can be through discovery calls, or they're called opportunity calls or value calls, audits. So if you offer an audit, for example, of someone's business or an aspect of their business, it might be a free audit that you offer in the DMs, so the direct messaging. But how can conversations be sparked, and what have you got available for people? Going back to the mindset where we spoke about in your client journey, you having the mindset, you having the belief, the understanding and the trust of knowing that you do facilitate a business, you are open for business. When you really welcome that, and that you have your gifts and talents to share, and that you genuinely, as you already do, want to help people, that invites people in. They can sense that, they can pick up on that. So having ways that they can connect with you. Maybe it's a low ticket offer. And when I say low ticket, maybe you've got something that's under $100 that people can start with you. Whether you're a designer, whether you're a photographer, maybe you're a coach, a virtual assistant, maybe there's a digital product that you can create that is a low ticket item for people that's under $100. That is an easy next step for them to take. So that's where conversations can start as well. So conversations, there's so much joy from that. That all comes from having the other, 4 steps in place. When I first started in business, I actually thought that the conversations would start straight away. I didn't have the understanding, the depth of knowledge. I was brand new to business. I had a lot of, I guess you would say, mindset beliefs I needed to work through, confidence to develop, probably aspects of entitlement as well, if I'm open with you, that I just expected that people would just, be ready to buy, and that those conversations would be had straight away. But remembering that, your marketing activities need to take place, and someone that's further along, further advanced in their business, or has been in the game for a longer period of time, for example, has already got that bank, that credibility developed. They've already been sowing the seeds. So think of it like that. That analogy of those other 4 steps is sowing the seeds. And when you sow the seeds openly, bountifully, then you'll reap bountifully as well. But when you sow sparingly, just like giving little bits out, then really you're going to reap that in return. So I know it sounds like a biblical principle, and I do believe it is the scripture there around sowing and reaping. But just think of that example of if you are giving generously and openly, it will come back in return. But if you're just giving little bits out and, lots of missing parts, then, you will most likely receive that in return. That harvest won't be there in that capacity that it would be otherwise. And step 6 is all about simple systems. So for your client journey to work and to work well, and for people to come into your business, come into your world, having those steps set up and moving interchangeably, they need to be supported by systems. So going back to the example of having a podcast in your business, simple systems of like, well, how do you have that podcast set up? Have you got a schedule that you pretty much run to? Do you batch your content? Like, what sort of systems have you got in place that ensures that that podcast continues to go out and that you're recording your episodes? The emails that we spoke about, how are you delivering those? Like, how often is it? Once a week, once a fortnight, once a month? And are you, doing that consistently? What systems have you got set up that support that? Do you go back through your content and reuse it and refresh it and then schedule it out in advance? Maybe you write a brand new email. What are the systems that you have in place, and are you using them to support you and your client journey? Because it runs so much smoother. For example, when you have your emails scheduled in advance, even if it's 1-2 weeks in advance, having those emails scheduled, great. I can then focus on another aspect of my business. Maybe it's creating that free resource that you've been talking about, that video training or additional podcast episodes, for example. Maybe it just frees up your time, but simple systems, and that automatically does start to move people through to paying clients and or sales. So looking at your sales processes, so having your emails, for example, scheduled 1-2 weeks, maybe you have them 4 weeks in advance. I've certainly done all iterations. I find that a couple of weeks worth in advance works really well for me, having done 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and everything in between. But you'll find a way for you in recognizing that that's one of your systems, having it set up in place, and it will naturally start to move people through. They'll see your email, they'll open it up and they'll go, yes, I do want to book in for pet mining services, or yes, actually, I do want to donate now to the cause that you support, for example, or I want to buy that product, because you've been sowing the seeds when it comes to those steps of networking. You've been going to events, you've got your offer or offers out there and you're marketing those. You're on your social media platforms. You're continuing to nurture people through, whether you go to networking events, but your emails, your podcasts, being in collaborations like 11 hour, you're nurturing people. The conversations then start to come from that. Your systems support all of this. And I intentionally put systems as number 6 rather than at the beginning, because I want you to focus on, and it's so much easier, certainly what I learned, and that's why I have it as my framework, is when you network, when you create your offer, when you attract your tribe and nurture your community, the systems, you recognize that you need systems in place to support that, and you're focusing on those big marketing activities. First and foremost, the sales naturally come, the systems support that. When you focus first on all the sales, you tend to miss or overlook the networking opportunities, the nurturing of people, because you're like, hey, I need clients, I want to be booked. And that's not to say that, it's not to dismiss, being booked, having clients and all of that. But for your business to continue to flow and to get that momentum it needs, these steps need to be working and interwoven for that to happen as well. So your systems are going to support that. Think of it as your standard operating procedures. What standard operating procedures do you have for your sales processes? When someone signs up for a discovery call, do you receive their email in exchange? When someone expresses an interest in working with you, what's the process that you have? Like, how do you follow up? Do you follow up? Can you follow up? Like, there's always an opportunity to follow up. And at what point do you go, you know what? I'll leave it as well. How do people purchase from you? Is it with a PayPal link, a Stripe link, through your website? Like, just looking at this as an audit. And like I said, your follow-up systems in place. Following up with people from networking events, reaching out, getting back in touch with them, from collaborations, follow-up systems if they've expressed an interest in working with you, like circle back. People do, require reminders, but also too, when you follow up, if you genuinely do from a place of service, it's easy for that person to sense that, pick up on that, and they'll respond and they'll let you know, hey, I do want to work with you. This is what's happening at the moment. And you can say, well, hey, I understand. Can I touch base with you in, say, 6 weeks' time, for example, or 4 weeks, whatever you decide it to be. But what follow-up systems do you have in place for people? So they are the 6 steps. They are the 6 steps to optimizing your client journey for sowing success and the roadmap to results. And it's all about reflecting, refining, and repeating. So it's going back through those 6 steps, reflecting at each point, like you've listened to this live stream, you've caught it as a replay. You're like, hey, there's an area of my business I need to reflect on, Amanda, and refine. You spoke about systems. I realize they're a bit of a mess at the moment, so I need to have some structure in place. I'm going to use a planning tool to help me, for example. Or, hey, networking, I haven't been following up there. That's a system I can put in place. Networking, I've overlooked it. I'm going to explore it. Nurturing, shivers. I haven't been nurturing my community. I haven't been sending emails. I haven't been creating video content, for example, or the podcast, or repurposing the podcast and sharing it again in different ways. So reflect, refine, and repeat. And that's the mix, and continue to circle back and follow back through them as your business grows. And, some of those steps, will look different to what they did 6 months ago. There'll be a different priority as you start to receive more clients coming in. Same thing as well. But reflect, refine, and repeat. And your client journey will take place. And it will serve your people so much better by having a client journey in place. People can sense it. They can recognize it, even though they might not be able to articulate it. So when you have your systems in place, it works. Any questions? Feel free to pop them in. Oh, hey, thanks, Kerry. These are great ideas. You're most welcome. Yeah, and if there's been questions pop up and I've missed them, I do apologize. I will circle back. Do you have an email list builder creator that you recommend? Email list. I use MailerLite. I did have MailChimp. Well, I have both. And MailerLite went through a lot of changes, and I've been able to figure out those changes and how to update. So I was able to transport my list from MailChimp to MailerLite. And community members are on that. So MailerLite is a great one that you can look at. I'm on the free version. There's MailChimp as well. So that's what I've used to grow my email community. And I encourage you to explore that if you haven't already. So any questions? If you're watching this as a replay, you're welcome to drop questions below, circle back. Next steps, excuse me. We've got monthly mingles with 11:11 hour. So this is a new initiative with 11:11 hour. We're really excited to be bringing these to you. It's a free virtual networking event. So you would have heard me talk a lot about networking in this live stream, and if you happen to follow me on socials as well, but most importantly in this live streaming. Step 1 was all about networking. So these monthly mingles are virtual, so you can be from anywhere in Australia, across the globe, and it's about networking with others. It's actually about what collaborations you can be a part of. Maybe you want to be a speaker, a guest on podcasts. Maybe you have a podcast and you're looking for speakers. Like, that's where it's going to work interchangeably. It's about, I say sharing resources, but looking how we can help one another in exchange. So they're going to be monthly mingles kicking off in July. We'll drop the links below and you're welcome to sign up. We've got quite a few people already signed up and we're really very excited. So they'll start as monthly mingles and we'll go from there. And if you would like a no obligation one-to-one email audit for your email strategy, then by all means get in touch. I'll drop the link below and we'll go through your current email strategy, whatever it looks like, whether you've got 10 people on your list, 100, 300, and beyond. And we'll have a look at your current strategy, what's working well, what needs refining, and you'll walk away with some strategies that you can implement. So thank you so much to everyone that's been here live. Thank you to everyone that's catching this as a replay. Thank you to Sherry and Tab as always for 11:11 hour. And thank you so much. And yeah, bye for now.